Lovely viewers, gather around because today's story is one that will wrap around your hearts like a warm embrace. It's soft, magical, emotional, and filled with the kind of moments that make you smile without even realizing it. We're diving into the breathtaking fairy-tale-like celebration of Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo's very first anniversary as husband and wife. An unforgettable day made even sweeter by the presence of their beautiful twins. And trust me, this is the kind of story that makes you believe love is real, powerful, and deeply beautiful. So sit back, relax, hold your hearts gently, and let's step into this enchanting chapter of their lives together. Imagine the scene. The morning sun pouring softly through the wide windows of their serene Seoul mansion, casting a golden glow on everything it touches. Inside, the atmosphere is filled with laughter. Tiny, adorable baby giggles from the twins, who have somehow grown even more charming than before. Lee Min-ho, with that signature soft smile his fans adore, is holding one of the babies while Song Hye Kyo is gently bouncing the other on her lap. Their home is decorated with subtle touches that reflect who they are. Elegant, warm, and effortlessly beautiful. And today, more than any other day, everything feels magical because it's their anniversary. Their first one as a family of 4. The couple woke up early that morning, not because they planned to, but because their twins had decided that 6:15 a.m. was the perfect time for the entire household to rise. Instead of groaning, instead of wishing for more sleep, Min-ho and Hye Kyo simply burst into laughter. Their mornings, once quiet and peaceful, have turned into cute chaos, but it's the kind of chaos they wouldn't trade for anything in the world. And that, lovely viewers, is what made today even more meaningful. They were celebrating love, family, growth, and the precious moments they've created together. As they carried the twins downstairs, hand in hand, Min-ho surprised Hye Kyo by suddenly stopping in the middle of the staircase. She looked at him with concern for a second, but before she could ask questions, he leaned close and whispered, "Happy anniversary, my love." She froze just for a moment. It wasn't the surprise itself, but the softness in his voice, the sincerity in his eyes. She smiled, one of those delicate, heart-melting smiles we've seen her give in dramas, but this one was even more genuine. The twins squirmed in their arms, breaking the moment, but the warmth lingered in the air. Downstairs, a quiet surprise awaited. Min-ho had arranged a simple but touching breakfast. Their favorite fruits, freshly baked pastries, and a tiny cake decorated with the words, "1 year together." There wasn't a grand, dramatic gesture. Not because he didn't want to, but because both of them preferred to keep this moment intimate, personal, and family-centered. The kind of celebration that stays in the heart forever. And what truly stole the moment? When the twins reached for each other's tiny hands as they sat in their high chairs, creating an adorable picture-perfect scene that made both parents burst into laughter. The room felt full of joy, full of memory, full of love. Lovely viewers, you should have seen the way Min-ho looked at his wife as she cut the cake. It was the look of a man who still cannot believe his luck. The look of someone who sees his world reflected in her eyes. Hye Kyo, on the other hand, stole glances at him too. Those shy, affectionate little looks that she only reveals when she's truly happy. Their chemistry, even now, after marriage, after twins, after endless responsibility, continues to sparkle like it was born just yesterday. After breakfast, the couple spent the morning playing with the twins. The living room became a playground. Colorful toys, cheerful giggles, Min-ho lying on the floor pretending to be a horse while one of the babies clung to his shirt, giggling uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Hye Kyo was trying and failing to teach the other twin how to clap. Each attempt resulted in the baby slapping her cheeks or pulling her hair lightly, and she kept laughing anyway. These were the moments that defined their anniversary. Organic, heartfelt, tender. But the celebration didn't end there. Min-ho had something bigger planned. Not extravagant, not flashy, but deeply sentimental. He drove the family to a private garden just outside of the city, a place he had secretly rented for the entire day. The garden was breathtaking. Tall cherry blossom trees lightly shedding petals, a small pond reflecting the afternoon sky, and soft instrumental music playing from hidden speakers. The space felt like it had been pulled straight out of a romantic drama. When they arrived, Hye Kyo was stunned into silence. She wasn't expecting something so beautiful, so calm, so them. While the twins napped peacefully in their stroller, Min-ho guided her beneath the blossoms, stopping under the largest tree where a small white blanket had been spread out for a picnic. He took her hands gently, his voice soft but filled with emotion as he said, "1 year ago today, we promised each other forever. And now, standing here with you and our babies, I feel like I have everything I ever wanted." Her eyes shimmered, not with sadness, but with overwhelming love. She leaned her forehead against his, breathing him in, feeling the weight of his words settle into her soul. The moment was simple, but oh, lovely viewers, it carried the kind of emotional power that only true love can hold. They sat together enjoying the quiet, talking about their journey. How they met again, how their relationship blossomed, how nervous Min-ho had been before proposing, how emotional Hye Kyo had been on their wedding day, how their twins came into the world and changed everything. They laughed at the memories, blushed at the sweetest ones, and held hands throughout. At one point, Min-ho pulled out a small gift, a delicate necklace engraved with 4 tiny initials, Amj, and the twins' first letters. When he clasped it around her neck, she touched it with trembling fingers as the meaning settled in. Their family, their love, their bond. The twins eventually woke up and immediately stole the moment back, babbling excitedly, reaching for petals, and pulling at Min-ho's collar. He carried them both in his arms, one on each side, and Hye Kyo snapped a photo that might very well become her favorite. Seeing him hold their children with so much pride, so much affection, made her heart swell in a way she couldn't even describe. As the sun began to set, the sky turned a breathtaking blend of orange, pink, and lavender. The 4 of them sat together under the cherry blossoms, watching the sky change colors. The twins, now calmer, rested against their parents' chests. Min-ho wrapped his arm around Hye Kyo, gently kissing the top of her head. She leaned into him, her eyes half closed, overwhelmed by peace. As the night carried on from that breathtaking moment, the guests at the anniversary party were still in awe. Conversations quietly buzzed around the venue. People whispered to one another about what they had witnessed, replaying her words in their minds like a scene from a romance film that no one wanted to end. But while the guests were swept up in emotion, Min-ho found himself completely still for a long moment. Even as the soft music resumed and people began to move, his heart was rooted to the spot, overwhelmed by the sincerity of what Hye Kyo had said. It wasn't common for her to express such deep feelings publicly. She was always composed, elegant, and in control. But the vulnerability she had shown tonight, right there in front of everyone, right there in front of him, was something he would never forget. Lovely viewers, if someone had taken a picture of his expression at that moment, it would have said everything words couldn't. His eyes, usually confident and calm, were gentle and full, like they were holding something too precious to spill. His lips trembled slightly, not because he was nervous, but because he had just heard the kind of words that sink straight into a person's soul. As he held her after she placed her hand over his heart, he whispered something into her ear, too soft for anyone else to catch. But later, someone close to them revealed what he said. "Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for loving me honestly." And lovely viewers, it didn't end there. When they finally pulled apart from that warm embrace, he took both her hands in his. His thumb brushed lightly over her knuckles, and for a moment, they simply looked at one another, absorbing everything the other felt. It wasn't just love blooming in that moment. It was trust. It was gratitude. It was partnership. Camera flashes continued in the background, but neither of them noticed. They were lost in a world that existed only for the 2 of them. And this is where our continuation begins, where their night, their emotions, and their connection deepened even further. After the initial wave of emotion, the couple was guided toward a candlelit table near the center of the venue. It wasn't planned. One of their close friends quietly arranged it because they saw how deeply the moment had affected the 2 of them. The table had a soft white cloth, delicate roses, and a small tray with desserts shaped like hearts. It was meant for them to breathe for a moment, just the 2 of them amidst the celebration. As they sat down, Min-ho gently squeezed her hand and said, I wasn't expecting you to speak tonight. She gave him a shy smile, almost embarrassed. I wasn't planning to. But when I looked at you, something in me wanted to say it. He chuckled softly. You almost killed me, you know that? Her eyes widened playfully. Killed you? Yes, he said with dramatic seriousness. I wasn't prepared for such beautiful words. You can't just do that without warning. She laughed, a soft melodic laugh, and leaned her head onto his shoulder. Should I warn you next time? No, he replied, kissing her forehead. Never warn me. Just be honest with me. Always. Lovely viewers, their closeness only grew from here. As they sat at that little table, surrounded by flickering candlelight, Min-ho couldn't stop replaying the moment in his head. Those touching words, her voice trembling, the way her eyes shined with emotion. It felt like a gift he didn't know he needed. A gift he didn't know he deserved. He turned to her again and said, Do you know what meant the most to me? She looked up curiously. You said I'm your safest place, he whispered. That I will remember for the rest of my life. Hye Kyo blushed deeply. It's true, she replied. You make the world less scary. There was a pause. A warm, delicate pause that wrapped around both of them like a blanket. And then Min-ho responded with something he had never said out loud before. You're my home. Lovely viewers, imagine the gasp people would have let out if they had heard that. But only she heard it. Only she knew the weight of those words. Only she felt the sincerity behind them. And that moment, though quiet, was the moment she visibly teared up. She leaned closer, her forehead touching his, her hands gently cupping his cheeks. Then let's keep choosing each other, she whispered. Every day. He nodded, closing his eyes. Always. Meanwhile, guests at the party kept glancing over at them. Not to intrude, but because the energy coming from their table was so warm, so honest, that people felt naturally drawn to it. Some guests were whispering, They're so in love. You can feel their connection from here. I've never seen Min-ho look like this before. And lovely viewers, their friends weren't imagining it. From the way Min-ho brushed a stray strand of hair behind her ear, to the way Hye Kyo's hand remained on his arm, their affection flowed effortlessly. After sharing their quiet moment, the couple returned to the crowd, where more surprises awaited. One of their friends dimmed the lights and announced, We have something special for the couple tonight. Everyone turned toward the screen set up near the front of the garden. A video montage began playing, clips of their journey together. Private photos of them traveling, candid videos of them laughing, behind-the-scenes moments from their projects, celebrations, quiet mornings, silly faces, and peaceful nights. Hye Kyo covered her mouth in surprise. Min-ho wrapped an arm around her waist, pulling her closer as their shared memories lit up the screen. At one point, there was a clip of Min-ho hugging her from behind while she cooked, both of them laughing uncontrollably. In another, she was asleep on his shoulder during a flight, and Min-ho smiled tenderly at the camera as if saying, Look at her. She's everything. But the clip that made the audience melt was one where Min-ho whispered into her hair, You have no idea how much I love you. Lovely viewers, the guests let out collective ahs. And Hye Kyo's eyes welled up again. Min-ho kissed her temple softly. I meant every word. When the video ended, the applause wasn't just applause. It was admiration. It was celebration. It was everyone witnessing a love so genuine that it reminded them of the kind of romance that still exists. And that wasn't the end. After the video, Min-ho gently tugged her hand and led her to the center of the garden. Music shifted to a slower, more intimate melody. The lights dimmed, and he extended his hand to her as if asking, May I? She smiled, that soft, glowing smile he loved so much, and placed her hand in his. Guests fell silent once again as the couple began to dance. Not a polished, choreographed dance. No cameras, no directors, no scripts. Just two hearts moving in rhythm. His hand rested on her waist. Her arms wrapped softly around his neck. Their foreheads touched. Their eyes remained closed. And in that moment, Nothing existed except the way they breathed in sync. Guests were emotional. Some said it felt like watching vows being exchanged without words. Others whispered that they had never seen a couple so deeply connected. But the real magic happened when Min-ho leaned down and whispered something into her ear. From there, the night grew even more intimate, even more heart-melting, and even more unforgettable for everyone who witnessed it, and for the millions of fans who later learned what happened next. Because what unfolded after that moment wasn't just romance. It was a window into the kind of love that grows deeper the longer two people choose each other. And lovely viewers, that is where our continuation begins. As the music drifted through the ambient glow of warm lights, Min-ho kept his arms loosely around her waist, still swaying gently. People had begun returning to conversations, but every once in a while, their eyes drifted back to the couple because something about them made it impossible to look away. They were still fully inside their own world. Two hearts talking, two souls listening. And the softness in their faces said everything. Min-ho brushed a strand of hair from her cheek. His touch slow and careful, as if memorizing the moment. "Do you know," he murmured, "your words? I've never heard anything that touched me like that." She tried to look away, a little shy, but he pulled her back with a gentle teasing tilt of his head. "No, look at me," he said softly. "I want you to know what they meant to me." Lovely viewers, when she finally met his eyes again, he smiled with that kind of warmth that melts even the coldest night. "You are the reason my faith in good things stayed alive when it could have easily disappeared," he said. "You're the reason I didn't give up on myself." She blinked slowly, as if steadying herself against the weight of those words. And then she whispered, "But you're the reason I learned to love without fear again." Their foreheads touched, their hands interlocked, and for a long cinematic moment, neither spoke. But this is where things get even more touching, lovely viewers. Because after that quiet moment, the guests themselves, moved by the earlier speech, began sharing small stories about the couple that no one outside that garden had ever heard. One friend revealed how Min-ho would sneak out early in the mornings during filming just to leave her handwritten notes in places he knew she'd find later. Notes like, "Drink something warm today," or "Tonight will be a good night, I promise," or even the simplest ones like, "I'm proud of you." Another friend shared how Hye Kyo, despite being famously private, once cancelled an entire schedule simply because Min-ho texted her, "I'm tired today," and she sensed that his tired didn't refer to his body but to his heart. She went straight to see him, cooked for him, and stayed until he fell asleep. Lovely viewers, those tiny stories began spreading through the party, creating a soft chorus of admiration around them. People whispered to each other things like, "They really are meant for each other. They take care of each other in ways we don't even see." And no wonder her speech was so heartfelt. By the time the couple stepped aside to enjoy a quiet moment at one of the smaller tables, the atmosphere around them had become a warm cloud of love. Hye Kyo rested her head on his shoulder, and he wrapped an arm around her without thinking, like muscle memory born from love. "Are you overwhelmed?" she teased quietly. "A little. Because of my speech. Because you said everything I've always wanted to hear," he answered. She laughed under her breath. "I thought I'd embarrass you." "You didn't embarrass me," he said, turning to face her fully. "You healed parts of me." Lovely viewers, this was the line that made fans later cry the hardest when staff members revealed it online. Because Min-ho wasn't saying it dramatically. He was saying it honestly, genuinely, like a man who had been waiting for that kind of reassurance for a very long time. She lifted his hand and kissed the back of it. "You're always trying to be strong," she said. "But you're allowed to be held too." He swallowed visibly, touched in ways words couldn't describe. "You do hold me," he whispered. "More than you think." Just then, someone brought out a small cake. The private anniversary surprise meant only for their close circle. It wasn't flashy or huge, but elegant, with a handwritten message in delicate frosting. "To love that grows deeper every year." As they cut the cake together, their hands overlapping, Min-ho leaned closer and whispered something that made her eyes widen in surprise and emotion. He said, "Someday, I want us to celebrate anniversaries not just as a couple, but as a family."